Okay, so in the last tutorial was a very basic intro to working with stairs and handrails. So here's my model here, the house, and I just added this handrail and tried to configure it. Wasn't the easiest thing to configure, and I put some stairs in here and tweaked it around a little bit. What's great about Revit is there's a huge amount of users and manufacturers creating content. So you don't need to be an advanced user to replicate or use some of this content. This is an example of glass handrails that I could reuse in any project. There's numerous manufacturers and third-party suppliers out there providing you with these, so you don't really need to do all the work to create this. You can see there's quite a lot of detail here. What I could do if I wanted to do something like a pool fence, I could just grab some of this and put it in the space. So here you could see there's some interesting designs in terms of how the glass balustrade handrail here could be fixed to your project, and then a bit more detail on the handrail types and the fixings. So what I could do is I could grab one of these, and I'll grab this one here, for example, and I can go to copy to clipboard, and there are numerous ways you can load this into the project. This is just the basic way to do it. I can go to my 3D view here, and I can basically paste it. So I've just selected one item here to paste it in. I'll just go and paste from clipboard. It's going to ask me to save the project. Now it may just give you some pop-ups to say that there's some similar things in there already. Just go OK. And now we have this handrail loaded in the project. And you can see if you want to reverse engineer the handrail, how it was all put together. So the rail structure, they've taken that out, and you can see in the 3D view how it's going to look. We've also got how they've set up their baluster placement, and they've created a baluster family here. So there's a lot of things you can look at here to understand how it all goes together inside of this makeup of this railing, should you want to. Usually, these have to be manufactured. You've got to find a local manufacturer, check and see whether they provide Revit content, because they can make the content for you. Now, I can just go and grab this and then match properties. So I'm going to match it from that to that, and here we have it. Now, depending on how it's set up and what its restrictions are, you can see it's not cleaning up exactly in the right way because of the size of each glass panel. There may be some manufacturing restrictions here. You might be able to tweak how this is set up. So maybe when we go to the actual baluster placement, which actually has this glass here, how does it work? Does it spread to spread to fit the pattern? Should we center it? Excess fill length, there's none. So what if we go center? Does that give us an option to reuse that item again and go apply? It may not fit. So there's some restrictions here telling us that it's too small to actually do that. So we'll just get out of that. Okay, it has actually flexed it, but it's just hidden that glass within the wall. So that's just a quick way of reusing some manufacturer's content, tweaking it. We may have to resize the actual family of that glass panel to get it work, but it can look quite nice. Other ones that I've got here, so these are all the glazing ones. Here's some for ramps. So this is more of an industrial sort of setup, but could be quite handy just to grab some of this and again reverse engineer it. So maybe I want some ramps with some upstands here, some what do we call them, hobs, that was it. And I want some detail here with this kind of industrial sort of look and feel. So with that, again, I'm just going to grab some of that. I'm just sort of scouring around the project to see what could be quite cool. I'm going to grab that one, and I'm going to grab the one with the hobs. And again, this manufacturer has a lot of information available within these components. So I'm just grabbing that, and I'm going back to my 3D project here. Sorry, that one there. And I'm just going to paste it. So I'm just going Control V to paste it in. And it's going to tell us some stuff about hatching and bits and pieces. So I'm just going to ignore that for now. Now it is bringing in some detail, so it may just take a little time to process, and we'll just place it here. Don't worry about where it's sitting at the moment. We'll just go finish. So some things may or may not work here. Now I wanted to actually reuse this railing here. So what I could do is I could grab that one and then pick the host, and I'm going to see if it will let me do on the stair. And let's just see if that's like me or not. No, it hasn't. Okay, let me just do that, undo that. So this one here, I want to add a railing. At the moment, there is no railing to that stair. So we go back to architecture, go back to railing, place on a stair or a ramp. I want the railing to be that one that I just brought in. So it's this one. Let me check the name, AR160, and I want to go and do place on stair or ramp. Let's just see if it will allow me to do it. AR160, and I'll go and grab that. And here we go. So that's kind of cool, because I didn't want to have railings on the actual, what do we call it, stringers here. So now when I go to my section view, sorry, not the 3D section, to this view, we can see that railing's sort of sitting in the right place. Now we may need to flip it if it's not sitting exactly right, but you get the idea, and you can start to manipulate it. Now, depending on how it's all set up, you can see some of the junctions aren't quite right. It might not like that, those angles that may be set with certain things in the background. We just need to be aware of that when we do our project. And then you can see how it's hosting to that stair. It might want to flip the other way, for example. So there may be some tools to go in here and edit it, and instead of having that -77 offset, we could do that and apply, and now it's flipping around. So little bit rough in places here, but you get the idea for that. So I'm going to leave that one off for now, and just grab that ramp here and just re-engineer that, reuse that ramp for my workflow. Now that other railing I just deleted is still in the project, it's still embedded. I'm just going to go to my ground floor plan and just reuse that that ramp. Now I could just go and grab everything here and move it around, or I could just go here and go create similar, and maybe I want to have a ramp up here leading up to the garage. So I'll just go and just draw it from point A to point B, and just to finish. Now it may tell us a few warnings here. I'm just going to go back to our 3D view just to sort of see how that has come up in the model. So default 3D view. So here there's some issues with the rise and the run. So it was being a bit detailed here. So I don't want this one to be connected. I haven't set this up all properly. I'm just doing it out of the box. I'm just going to say none. The base offset, maybe we're going to go up 300 mil, for example. So I'm going to just apply that. And then when we go back to our ground floor plan and then just edit it, hopefully this will be a bit better. So let's just do it to there, do it to here for example, and we'll go to here, and this one tells us that we actually need quite a long length here, so that's kind of interesting. Let me just see whether it gives us a warning again. So now when I want to maybe have a bit of a look at what's going on with this ramp, go to view. Okay, so it seems to be showing up okay here, and then if we look at the actual type of it, it's got an incline of 1200, or sorry, 12. These can all be tweaked as well. I'll just leave that as is for now, and I don't want any railings here. So a simple way to do a ramp, but that is the way of capturing it from another model and then bringing it in. So we'll just delete that out and come back and address that later. This data is all available now in it, so there's a little upstand here, or a hob, which I could use later in the project, and it's got some generic floors and a lot of detail with the balustrades. So they're available there for later use. Just the whole purpose was to sort of show you here that there's a number of third-party models that are out there that you can grab. A lot of the manufacturers provide them to you for free. Just to touch on some other ones that we've got here. So that was the stairs and the ramps and the railings. There's the glass balustrades. Some other ones looking at stairs is this one. So this is all sort of built up with open treads, singular, the support in the center. All of this is available. So maybe some of these might be of interest for your design. Again, you can go and grab any one of these styles and then load them into your project. So if I want maybe this open tread one, all I'm doing here again is copy, and I'm going back to my other model, and which was, I'll just paste it into the ground floor here. So I can paste it in here, just drop it anywhere, and finish. And all I'm going to do here is just match the properties of this set of stairs to that one. It's going to let me do it, or I can just select here and just drag, do a drop down. So what was this one called? This was stairs residential open. This one I'll make stairs residential open. Okay, that one's not liking. Okay, well, if it's not liking, then we can just go and reuse that one and then create similar, and then draw our set of stairs with that one there. So finally, there's a couple other ones just here in the 3D views. There was one set of stairs. Then there's another one here, which is stairs with railings and balustrades and other items in the model. So you can get right down into that sort of detail if you're wanting to detail up a more classical design from 100 years ago. You can do all that. Hopefully you're a modern architect and you're pushing the boundary by trying to come up with new and exciting ideas. But all of these, yeah, you can get these from various websites, from different suppliers. They're available to use and then tinker with to get right in your design.